Hello everyone, my name is Hugo Guihe and today I'm gonna talk you through my insight on the 3D user interfaces chapter from the Encyclopedia of Human-Computer Interaction. So here we can see a little summary of what I'm about to talk to. So first we're gonna start with the definitions. In fact, defining 3D UIs can be tricky, but a simple explanation comes from the 3D user interfaces theory and practice book, where they are described as interfaces involving 3D interactions. So this means that the tasks are performed directly within a 3D spatial context. So this definition is good, but with this one we need to define two other ones. The first one is direct interactions, because unlike systems where you manipulate 2D widgets to control a 2D space, true 3D UIs involve direct interaction with the space itself. And then the third one is 3D spatial context. So this interaction happens in real or virtual 3D space, tracking the user's physical movement like body gestures or device orientation to control actions within the system. Now that we've quickly introduced the subject with the definitions, we can talk about the relevancy of 3D user interfaces, like why are they relevant in modern technology. So what is there to know is that initially 3D UIs were mainly found in high-end virtual reality known as VR and augmented reality known as AR systems. In these setups, traditional mouse and keyboards interactions were impractical because the users needed to move around freely in a virtual space, and since these systems already used spatial tracking to follow users' movement, it made sense to integrate 3D UIs for more natural control. However, in recent years, 3D UIs have expanded beyond VR and AR into everyday consumer technology. Game consoles like the Nintendo Wii, Microsoft Kinect, and smartphones with motion sensors have popularized spatial input, and these widespread adoptions makes it critical to study 3D UIs to improve design and functionality in applications that now spans gaming, mobile apps, and even everyday interactions with technology. So, because we know the definition and the relevancy, we can now list some examples of 3D user interfaces, as a great way to understand the importance of 3D UIs is through their applications in different areas of technology. So the first one is large displays. 3D interactions like pointing or gestures work well with large screens, replacing traditional inputs like a mouse. It's ideal for contexts where users move around or collaborate. Then the second one, a little more obvious, is the mobile applications. In fact, smartphones and tablets with sensors like accelerometers enable 3D spatial inputs. Examples include games like the Tilt to Steer game that we can see, and serious applications like mobile AR game, where virtual informations overlay the real world. The third one is video gaming. I talked earlier about motion gaming systems like the Nintendo Wii, Microsoft Kinect, and Sony Move that use spatial tracking for gestures and natural movement, enhancing user immersion in game. Now about the technologies behind the 3D user interfaces. Some key components are the tracking system and sensor with the accelerometer, gyroscope, infrared sensors. Indeed, they are the cornerstone of the 3D UIs. For instance, systems like the Microsoft Kinect utilize body tracking to enable users to control actions with gestures, while mobile devices use built-in sensors to facilitate 3D interactions. After that, we have the input devices with the gloves, handheld tracker, and touchless interfaces. So, beyond traditional controllers, new input devices, such as the one I just talked about, have emerged, and these tools allow for more natural interaction by capturing gestures and movement, providing a seamless user experience. And finally, the displays again. So here we can see the Apple Vision Pro product from Apple, which is a great example of how you can adapt the displays to perfectly match the 3D user interfaces needs. Last but not least, the most important point as a designer is how to design usable 3D UIs. So some key principles to consider include: first one, understanding the design space. We must have a clear understanding of the unique aspect of 3D interaction, including the spatial dimensions and the way users physically move and engage within the interface. Second one is innovate within constraints. Indeed, there's always room for innovation in 3D UI design, but it's essential to work within the constraints of the hardware and user capabilities, considering the limitations of motion tracking and the physical space of the user the user will operate within. Third one is the careful mapping and degrees of freedom. Designers should ensure that actions in the virtual space correspond logically to user movements. So for example, let's say I raise my hand in the real world, it should translate into an upward action in the virtual world, in the virtual environment. Fourth one is simplicity is key, as we have to avoid overcomplicating interactions. In fact, simple intuitive gestures are often more effective than complex multi-step processes. So streamlining the user experience enhances usability and reduces cognitive load. Fifth one is designing for the hardware, as understanding the limitations and strengths of the hardware is crucial. This includes recognizing the physical space where users will interact with the UI and ensuring the design accommodates different user environments. And finally, training and evaluations, because of course the users are not really used to interacting with the 3D user interfaces. And now for the conclusion, we can say that 3D user interfaces represent a significant evolution in human-computer interaction, enabling users to engage with technology in more immersive and intuitive ways. As we've explored, their relevance extends from gaming to mobile applications and large display environments, driven by advancement in tracking technologies and input devices. So that's why understanding the principle of designing usable 3D UIs is essential to harnessing their full potentials. And by focusing on user-centered design, simplifying interactions, and leveraging the right technologies, we can create experiences that not only meet user needs, but also enhance their engagement and satisfaction. Thank you for your attention.